Hey, I'm Ashley with You Need a Budget, and before I even got started with my free trial of YNAB, I was obsessed with creating the perfect budget. I had started and stopped and failed so many times in the past, but I decided this is gonna be it. This is the app I stick with, and I'm finally gonna get budgeting. And I thought the trick would be to create the exact perfect categories I needed. So I went to Reddit, YouTube, blogs, anywhere where people were sharing their budget categories, I wanted to see them so I could pick and choose and create my own ultimate budget. And I probably don't have to tell you where this is going, but things came up, random, bizarre things those first couple months using YNAB that before would have completely derailed me. But the reason I think budgeting stuck for me this time is that I learned there is no such thing as a normal month. Things always come up. We can let it get us off track, or we can roll with the punches, adjust, learn, and move on. There are a couple budgeting categories, 5 that I'm gonna share today that I think during those weird months help to even things out. Category number 1 is car repair / replace. And one of the weird things that happened when I first started budgeting is Jeremy's car, which had been very reliable, started acting really weird. It is a 2008, I think, so we took it to the mechanic shop and they kept it forever. And finally they called and he said, could he come by? If a mechanic wants to make a house call, this is probably gonna be really bad. So he came and we talked to him and he said he had never seen anything like this and that he was sorry it took him so long to diagnose it. And to help out, he was going to let us buy the parts for cost, and here was all the labor. And it was, to me, an astronomical amount of money, but it was something that had to be done. So we said okay, and I sat down with my budget. I had to move a lot of money around, but I was amazed. I was still able to pay that bill, but I could still pay the mortgage, pay utilities. It didn't completely ruin everything, and that was incredible, and that was a really early win for budgeting with YNAB. So after that, definitely every single month, I make sure to put in money into a car repair / replace category. I'm hoping, knock on wood, that nothing else happens to that car. And what I think would be amazing is when it's time to say goodbye to that car and get another one, I'll have a good chunk of money that we'll be able to put towards the new car. Category number 2 is other holidays. And I'm guessing a lot of you are already setting aside money for Christmas or Hanukkah, because a lot of budgeting advice says Christmas is not an emergency. We know when it's happening every single year, so be saving for it. What I've realized after a year and a half or so of budgeting is that there are other holidays that happen throughout the year that I like to spend money on. Maybe you want to make Easter baskets for your kids, or your family does a huge 4th of July barbecue and you need to budget for fireworks and extra food so it doesn't eat into your grocery category that month. I have twin sisters, and on their last birthday, I have a gifts category, so I had already bought their presents. But one of them mentioned that the year before, which I completely forgotten about, I had bought these cake balls from a bakery called Milk Bar in DC, and she loved them and was hoping I would bring them again. So I was kind of at the end of the month and my grocery category was really low. So instead I pulled out of my other holiday category and I was able to go to the bakery, get those, and bring them to their birthday. Couldn't talk about categories that I recommend without talking about my favorite category, and that is pets. This is Bo. He's actually he is not our first cat. For most of our marriage, we had another cat named Momo. And if you know where the names Momo and Bo are from, I will be very impressed. But Momo was Bo's exact opposite. Even full grown, she was only 6 pounds. She was fluffy, she barely moved, she was really low maintenance. And I'm not sure what made me put an entire category for pets, because I really didn't need it. I barely ever touched it. I think it was back when I was doing all that research, I just thought that this was a category that people had. If you had a pet, you had a pet category, but it built up over the course of maybe 6 or 8 months, and it was a pretty good chunk of money. And she had been such a healthy cat. I remember just at a vet, just a regular checkup vet appointment, the vet referred to her as elderly. I was so taken back. And in my mind, I guess I was just young and naive. I thought she was going to live forever, and she still seemed like a kitten to me, but over the course of one weekend, she went from being completely fine to not. She was such a good pet, and I'm so glad that we were able to give her a good life, and I'm so grateful to the budget so that that day I wasn't having to think, well, if I pay for this, I'm not gonna be able to pay this bill. It was just one less thing I had to think about. Category number 4 is health. I do have insurance, but I like to set aside a little bit of money from every single paycheck into a health category. Just makes me feel good to know that it's there. Last year when I was starting with YNAB in October, I flew out to Utah for their marketing meetup. I was excited. I was so nervous. It's such a change of pace from my old job, and I wanted to make a good impression on all my new coworkers. And I think it was the second day we were there, I walked into the hotel lobby and I didn't realize it had just been mopped, and I wiped out, like feet above my head, landed on my side, landed on this wrist, and I wanted to die. I was also carrying a thing of rice for whatever reason, and it was a mess. Ben and Kelly were so incredibly kind and sweet to me, but it was one of those things where I think if I had been by myself, there might have been a tear. So pulled myself together, but when I got home, I was black and blue and I felt like things weren't feeling right. So I went to the chiropractor, which my insurance does cover part of the visit, but I think I have to pay $50 per visit. So having that health category right there was perfect for that. And then this year I've had to go to the dermatologist a couple times, and there is one prescription that my insurance doesn't cover. So when it came time to pay that, it was really easy to just pull from the health category. Next up, I have a category for a bill I know I'm gonna forget about. And even though I tried so hard with that first budget to make it perfect, I definitely forgot about some scheduled things. So by having a cushion category, or if you wanna call it a things I forgot to budget for category, that is so powerful for helping to remove the stress from managing your money. And that's a great category to have if you do have to roll with the punches, because it's the perfect place to pull money from. So those are the 5 categories I think help to even out the weird months. And I was asking around if anybody on the YNAB team had any categories that they really lean on. I heard hosting, when people come and visit you and suddenly you have so much more food that you need to buy. That's a great one to have. Also, random acts of kindness. This is more than charitable giving or tithing. This is extra money so that if you want to do something really generous, you have that fund there. And I loved that one so much. I was cleaning up old YouTube playlists the other day, and I came across this one where Jesse was talking about categories. The entire time, throughout the whole video, he's holding this tiny kitten and he never addresses it. He just kind of leans into the cat part of category. And I thought it was hilarious, and I wanted to recreate it with Bo, but he kind of does things on his own time. If he's cuddly, he's cuddly. If he's wild, he's wild. So he seems kind of cuddly right now. But I hope this video was helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again very soon.